It was just another ordinary morning. The streets were quietly waking up. The smell of freshly brewed coffee drifted through the air, and the city hummed in that gentle, half-asleep rhythm it always had. You were on your way to work, mind somewhere between yesterday's worries and today's plans. As you passed by a small cafe on the corner, you noticed a girl kneeling on the pavement, groceries scattered around her feet. The paper bag she was holding had torn open, and for a second she just stood there, frozen, frustrated, trying to hold back tears. Without thinking too much, you stepped closer. You bent down, helped her pick up the rolling apples, the loaf of bread, the bottle of milk that nearly escaped down the street. She looked up, surprised at first, then her face softened. "Thank you," she said, not loudly but with a voice that carried a quiet relief. You smiled, said something like, "No problem," and held the door open for her. Then you left, coffee still warm in your hand, mind already moving on to the next thing. Just a small act of kindness, nothing special, nothing grand. But sometimes what feels small to you can be everything to someone else. For her, that morning had already been heavy. She had woken up late, not because she wanted to, but because she'd spent most of the night staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations, wondering if she was doing enough or if she was just tired. The day started with tiny inconveniences that stacked up like quiet waves. The missing bus, the spilled coffee, the unread message that stung a little too much. And yet she kept going, because that's what people do. They keep moving, even when they feel like stopping. By the time she reached that corner cafe, she was holding it together with the last bit of patience she had. Then the bag ripped. Groceries rolled across the pavement, and for a split second, she just froze. Her first thought wasn't even frustration. It was something smaller, like a whisper saying, of course this would happen too. And then you appeared. Not dramatically, not like a movie scene, just quietly, naturally, as if it was the most normal thing in the world to help. You didn't hesitate, didn't pity her, didn't look at your phone while offering half-hearted help. You were simply there, present, calm, kind. That moment lasted only seconds, but something inside her softened. Maybe it was the way you didn't make it a big deal. Maybe it was your smile, easy, genuine, unhurried, the kind of smile that feels safe. For the first time that morning, she didn't feel invisible. She didn't feel like she was fighting the whole day alone, and somehow that was enough to make her eyes sting. Not with sadness this time, but with something lighter. She sat by the window inside the cafe, watching the sunlight spill across the floor. People came and went. Life continued, just as it always does. But for her, something had shifted. She took a sip of her coffee, still warm between her palms, and thought about how such a tiny gesture, so effortless for you, could make her feel like maybe the world wasn't so cold after all. She even wondered who you were, where you were headed, and if you'd ever know what that small moment meant to her. And she smiled, not because her problems had vanished, but because she remembered something she'd forgotten for a while. That kindness still exists, and that sometimes it finds you when you least expect it. We rarely ever realize how far a small act can go. A smile you give without thinking, a word you speak in kindness, a gesture you make just because it feels right. They travel farther than you'll ever see. They move quietly through the world, bouncing from one heart to another, like soft echoes of light that never really fade. You never know who needed that smile. You never know whose day became a little softer because you decided to pause, even for a second. And that's the quiet beauty of kindness. It's not about being noticed. It's about being felt. Sometimes we think kindness has to be loud, that it has to fix something, change something, save someone. But more often, it just needs to be there, to exist softly in how you listen when someone speaks slowly, in how you wait when someone's struggling with their words, in how you forgive small mistakes, and in how you choose not to rush. Maybe the real measure of kindness is not how big it looks, but how deeply it lands. Because everyone you meet, truly everyone, is carrying something you can't see. Worries that don't show, grief that has no words, memories that still sting quietly at night. You can't fix it for them, but you can remind them that the world hasn't forgotten how to be gentle. There's something beautiful about the kindness that asks for nothing. It's humble, patient, and free. It doesn't need a thank you. It doesn't even need to be remembered. It just needs to exist because it makes the air around it lighter. You might never know the story of the person you helped. You might never see them again, but maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe kindness is meant to be anonymous, a quiet thread that connects strangers in invisible ways. Think about it. Someone once held the elevator for you when you were late. Someone let you go first in line. Someone said, "Take care," and meant it. Those moments didn't change your whole life, but they softened the edges of your day. They made you breathe easier, and that's what you're doing for others, without even realizing it. Every act of kindness creates a ripple. You can't always see where it goes, but it keeps moving, through words, through smiles, through small choices. The way you treat one person might influence how they treat the next. Your patience in one moment might teach someone else to slow down too. That's how we shape the world, not with grand gestures, but with thousands of tiny invisible ones that keep passing quietly between us. Maybe that's what love looks like when it doesn't have a name. It's not romantic, not dramatic, just deeply human. And sometimes when life feels heavy, when you're tired, when the world feels too loud, when your own kindness starts to fade, remember this. You've already made someone's day brighter. Someone out there remembers your smile, your patience, your warmth, even if you've forgotten that moment entirely. You exist in their memory as proof that goodness still happens. And that's not small, that's everything. So keep being gentle, even when no one's watching. Keep choosing kindness, even when it goes unnoticed. Because the softest things are often the strongest. Maybe that's how the world heals, not in sudden miracles, but in quiet moments, one small kindness at a time. You never know whose heart you're helping mend, or whose hope you're silently rebuilding, just by being a little bit kind. And maybe that's all we were ever meant to do. And maybe that's the quiet miracle of being human, that we're all walking each other home in small, invisible ways. You'll never meet most of the people whose lives you've touched. You'll never know how many hearts you've softened, how many storms you've calmed, simply by being kind. without meaning to. It's easy to think what we do doesn't matter. The world is vast, and we are just one of millions. But somewhere, in the middle of all that noise, someone's day feels lighter because of you. Someone's heart feels safer because of your patience. Someone's hope flickered back to life because you smiled at the right moment. And that's not small. That's the kind of quiet magic that keeps the world from falling apart. So keep doing the little things, the unnoticed things, the gentle things. Because the world doesn't always need grand gestures. It just needs people who care, even when no one's looking. And maybe that's all the light we ever need, to keep each other going, one quiet kindness at a time. Be kind even when it feels small, because you never know who needed that light. Maybe this is what kindness really is. The art of leaving the world softer than you found it. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need to be seen. It just needs to be real. So the next time you help a stranger, or hold the door open, or smile without a reason, remember you might be the reason someone's day feels a little lighter. And even if you never know it, that moment still matters. Because somewhere in the quiet corners of their memory, you exist, as proof that goodness still lives here. And maybe that's how we quietly take care of one another. Not through big promises, but through small moments that say, I see you. I care. Sometimes it's a smile you give to a stranger. Sometimes it's a message you send that simply says, hey, just thinking of you. Sometimes it's your calm voice when someone else is breaking. Little things. So small they almost vanish in the rush of life. And yet they're the threads that hold us together. We spend so much time chasing purpose, searching for meaning, trying to find our big reason. But maybe purpose isn't something you chase. Maybe it's something you leave behind, in moments that make the world softer for someone else. Even if no one remembers your name, your kindness will. It travels on, in the words people repeat, in the patience they show, in the quiet way they start to care again. So don't ever think your gentleness is wasted. It lingers. It roots itself quietly in the hearts of others and blooms again somewhere you'll never see. One small act at a time, you are part of a chain of light, a quiet, steady glow that keeps the world from going completely dark. So take a deep breath, look around, and know that you've already made a difference, simply by being here and choosing to be kind. In a world that moves too fast, where people rush and rarely look up, may you never forget the quiet power of a gentle heart. You don't have to be extraordinary to make a difference. Sometimes just showing up with kindness is enough. And if all you did today was make someone smile without realizing it, that's already something beautiful.